Finally, a young woman approached who was not dressed in black. She had a vessel on her shoulder, and her head was covered by a veil, but her face was uncovered. The boy approached her to ask about the alchemist. At that moment it seemed to him that time stood still. When he looked into her dark eyes, he saw that her lips were poised between a laugh and silence. He learned the most important part of the language that all the world spoke, the language that everyone on earth was capable of understanding in their heart. It was love. Something older than humanity, more ancient than the deserts. Something that exerted the same force whenever two pairs of eyes meet, as had theirs here at the well. She smiled, and that was certainly an omen, the omen that he had been awaiting, without even knowing he was for all of his life, the omen he had sought to find with his sheep, and in his books, in the crystals, and in the silence of the desert. It was the pure language of the world. It required no explanation, just as the universe needs none as it travels through endless time. What the boy felt at that moment was that he was in the presence of the only woman in his life, and that, with no needful words, she recognized the same thing. He was more certain of it than of anything in the world. He had been told by his parents and grandparents that he must fall in love and really know a person before becoming committed. But maybe people who felt that way had never learned universal language, because when you know that language, it's easy to understand that someone in the world awaits you, whether it's in the middle of the desert or in some great city. And when two such people encounter each other and their eyes meet, the past and the future become unimportant. There's only that moment and the incredible certainty that everything under the sun has been written by one hand only. It is the hand that evokes love and creates a twin soul for every person in the world. Without such love, one's dream would have no meaning. Yes, so if you are on a twin flame journey, you know what this book, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, is talking about. It is the instant soul recognition of a twin flame, or as he writes, twin soul, or basically any divine counterpart. Maybe you saw my video, the difference between twin flame and twin soul. For me personally is if you are a twin flame, and by that I mean if your twin flame is incarnated at the same time and you are on this journey destined to meet in this life, then you are a twin soul. And in that moment of the first eye contact, that is very well written in this book, The Alchemist, that is when that spark fires up, you could say, and the twin soul turns into the twin flame. Because then with the first eye contact, we feel that passion and we feel that pull. We do have a very typical twin flame motif here. It is the first eye contact. And the story is about a young man who lives in Spain. And he smells sometimes a scent coming from far away. He later recognizes it as the scent of his twin flame or twin soul. And he has, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I've read it, he has I think for him it was a dream. He dreamt. It was a prophetical dream, and some angel or some higher being came to him and told him to go and find a treasure and to go find the alchemist. And so he goes on his journey from Spain through Egypt, I believe, Morocco, Egypt, and on his way in the desert, he meets his twin soul. But he's still on this journey, and for him, it is an internal journey, of course, but also a physical journey, because he has a destination. In that specific prophecy he received from Spirit, he knew he had to go to a certain place. I think it is connected to the pyramids in Egypt. So he is on this physical journey and he has to say goodbye to her. So there is twin flame separation. But for them, it is not out of anger or fear or anything like that at all. For them, they know they will get together. she knows that he will come back. I didn't look up at that specific point in the book because I didn't want to read the entire book to you. They know that separation is not the end, and she is very much in the divine feminine already, not in the distorted feminine energy, but in the divine feminine energy, knowing that he is going to come back to her once he has fulfilled his mission. Wow, I just flipped through the book and I opened at a random page. You know that there's no coincidence. And I felt like I had to read this part of to you that I just randomly opened. So he is still in the desert. I think he's on his way back, judging by where we are, but I'm not sure. So he's talking to the desert. Somewhere you're holding the person I love, the boy said. So when I look out over your sands, I am also looking at her. I want to return to her, and I need your help so that I can turn myself into the wind. What is love? The desert asked. Love is the falcon's flight over your sands, because for him you are a green field from which he always returns with game. He knows your rocks, your dunes, and your mountains, and you are generous to him. The falcon's beak carries bits of me myself, the desert said. For years I care for his game, feeding it with the little water that I have, and then I show him where the game is. And one day, as I enjoy the fact that his game thrives on my surface, the falcon dives out of the sky and takes away what I have created. But that's why you created the game in the first place, the boy answered. To nourish the falcon, and the falcon then nourishes man, and eventually man will nourish your sands, where the game will once again flourish. That's how the world goes. So is that what love is? Yes, that is what love is. It's what makes the game become the falcon, and the falcon become man, and man in his turn the desert. It's what turns lead into gold and makes the gold return to the earth. I don't understand what you're talking about, the desert said. But you can at least understand that somewhere in your sands there is a woman waiting for me. And that's why I have to turn myself into the wind. The desert didn't answer for him for a few moments. Then it told him, I'll give you my sands to help the wind to blow, but alone I can't do anything. You have to ask for help from the wind. A breeze began to blow. The tribesmen watched the boy from a distance, talking among themselves in a language that the boy couldn't understand. The alchemist smiled. The wind approached the boy and touched his face. It knew of the boy's talk with the desert because the wind knows everything. They blow across the world without a birthplace and with no place to die. Help me, the boy said. One day you carried the voice of my loved one to me. Who taught you to speak the language of the desert and the wind? My heart, the boy answered. I skipped the part. You can't be the wind, the wind said. We're two different things. That's not true, the boy said. I learned the alchemist's secrets in my travels. I have inside me the winds, the desert, the oceans, the stars, and everything created in the universe. We were all made by the same hand, and we all have the same soul. I want to be like you, able to reach every corner of the world, cross the seas, blow away the sands that cover my treasure, and carry the voice of the woman I love. I heard that you were talking about the other day with the alchemist, the wind said. He said that everything has its own destiny, but people can't turn themselves into the wind. Just teach me to be the wind for a few moments, the boy said, so you and I can talk about the limitless possibilities of people and the winds. So you see, this book is very much, it's The Alchemist. It is about spiritual awakening. It is about the journey. And on his journey, he was basically already on his mission when he ran into the twin flame. And that very much fits what I say. When meeting a divine counterpart, you usually don't start from zero. You probably have been dealing with karmics before, or a catalyst connection, or something that already helped you ascend a little bit, because we always attract something that vibes similar to where we are. So in order to attract a twin flame, you probably already are some kind of a journey, even if you're not consciously on a spiritual journey, but some healing must have taken place. And I want to tell you another thing, a little synchronicity about my personal twin flame journey. I read this book, I don't remember, maybe like 1.5 years ago. I'm not exactly sure when I read this book, but within a week after I've read it, I've been on social media and there was an advertisement. I don't know if it was for audiobooks or anything, but just a week after I have read this book that is not completely about twin flames or twin souls, it is parts about that, because his journey is connected to the twin soul journey, but it is not all of that. There is more connected to his own journey. But yes, I saw a picture of my twin flame, and right next to it I saw the cover of this book. There was an advertisement with this book about twin flames, which was just one out of many synchronicities. But I already know that we were twin flame. I knew it from spirit. But yes, so this is one book that contains twin flames. So if you're interested in that and you want to check it out, please check the link in the subscription box below. I would even get a small commission if you get it there. If you've already read it, leave your comment. How do you like it? Tell me if you'll get it. And I want to spoiler you, obviously. I mean, I do study literature and we learn in literature, we don't tell the entire story. This is not how it works. We take out a motive, and I was talking about the twin flame motive, which is one of the motives of this book, and it is connected to a journey, a physical journey. It has the twin flame motives that twin flames often come from different countries. He is from Spain and she is from somewhere in North Africa. I forgot. Well, she lives in the desert. Could be Morocco, could be Egypt. I'm not entirely sure where she's from, but she is from another religion. She is from another country, so there is long distance in the beginning, and there is spiritual awakening obviously with this book. There is an inner journey, there is awakening, there is ascension, and well, the divine feminine and the divine masculine energy as well, of course. And it already says a fable about following your dream. So as I said, he had the dream that was spiritual guidance, and he followed this guidance, and because he followed his spiritual guidance, he left everything behind that he had. He was a shepherd. He left everything behind. He found his twin soul, and we all know that those connections are extremely divinely guided. You can't go looking for a twin flame. It finds you when the time has come, if you have a twin flame. If not, you most likely have another kind of divine counterpart. Could be a soulmate, could be a mirror soul, could be a soul twin, doesn't really matter. It's true love, right? The label is not that important. I just wrote to a client earlier about the labeling. Imagine if you're a mom, and I know it may be a little bit different in some cultures, but usually when you're a mom, it doesn't matter if you have a boy or a girl, or if your child has blonde hair or brown hair or blue eyes or green eyes or gray eyes or brown eyes. It really doesn't matter. You know, it's just love. And it's similar with when you find your true love. It doesn't matter if it's a twin flame or a soulmate. It's just different energy. There is difference, but none is better than the other, because your soul shows exactly what you want or what your soul wanted to experience. And not everyone is on this major ascension mission like twin flames are, and that is completely fine. It doesn't mean that if your divine counterpart is not a twin flame but it's a soulmate, that is any less. It's the perfect thing for you. You know, it would be like saying, oh my God, a lawyer, they make a lot of money, they have prestige, that's the best. No, not everybody is made to be a lawyer. For some people, they're amazing cooks, and for them that is the best thing they can do. Or they're artists, or they're perfect nurses, and they wouldn't want to be a doctor who has no time really for the patient, because that's what nurses do, and they want to be a nurse. So there is We are all created different. And it's only in the ego that we put one thing above another. But ultimately, what is we? We're civilization. I didn't mean to say civilization, but we are all connected. And it's like those wheels, how do you call them? The gears, everything is meant to fit into each other, so everything plays its role. So everything is of the same importance. It's just the ego that puts one thing more important than the other. So a twin flame, if you have a twin flame, of course that's the best thing. You wouldn't want to choose it, you wouldn't want to trade it to anything else. But if your true love is a soulmate, then why would you want to go on a twin flame journey that takes years, But anyway, that was a little bit of digression. This is the book Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist, and I'm going to talk about this one next, Brida, another twin flame book by Paulo Coelho, or at least it has the motive, and I see you there. This will probably be published next week, so make sure you subscribe so that you can check out next week's book review on Brida. I see you there now. Bye bye.